What's going on, motherfuckers? We doing it, man. We doing it. Oh no. I don't see it on my homepage no more, bruh. Alright. So just gonna have to do this. Yeah, there it is. I knew it was a Wick debate.
How far does that go down?
I don't know
Every
if
single person.
I don't know if I'm doing the whole 4 hours, boys. I don't know if I'm doing that. But let's see how this works out.
In the Republican Party right now, except for like the never Trumpers.
That's obviously political suicide, wasting political capital. It's effectively a meme position. It's not even a real position.
Okay, I thought the meme position was where we pretended that the 2020 election didn't happen, and then we doubled down on every single thing we believe, but then we still managed to win in 2025. I thought that was the meme position. But...
They're dumb.
Yeah, that's fine. And those people are enemies to my country. That's fine. And there are people that are legitimate communists and legitimate fucking Nazis. Why the fuck would I care about what they think? I'm an American, and I believe in the American Constitution. They say the Democrats have already done it. The same thing that you use as excuses for restraint on the left, the Republicans use as excuses, as reasons to act on the right. They say, Megyn Kelly,
and that's why they're losing and I'm winning.
They're not losing. They won the second election.
Winning.
They won the second election. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, we did have some pretty big wins at some of these smaller elections, and like all the stuff. I don't know if I might disagree with Tiny here.
Today, the President of the United States tweeted out that members of Congress were guilty of sedition and should be hanged when they reminded U.S. servicemen and women that they should disobey illegal or unlawful orders. The question becomes, when Democrats retake the Senate, the House, the White House, when we win, what should be done about those who are currently in power and those who have supported those who are currently in power? What should be done with them who have broken the law?
They should all be held account for their crimes. Why would we not hold them account for their crimes? Why would we show them grace? That's what started and perpetuated the system that we're currently in now. We shouldn't have shown them grace during the Civil War. We should have held them to account.
Or hinted at wanting to break the law, all these things. Should we, for the good of the country, come together, move on, move forward? Or should we have a Nuremberg-style kind of trial and hold these people to account to the fullest extent of the law? We're going to talk about it today. We've got some great guests. First guest we're going to give it to is Staxiums. Staxiums, give us what you got.
Hey, yeah, I was hoping to maybe hear from them to understand what exactly I'm attacking, because it kind of depends on their positions. So I'll just kind of swing wide and say that Trump has been laying ground for the possibility of corruption by providing coverage for his political allies. I'll point to people like Roger Stone, him pardoning January 6 rioters, him pardoning George Santos. He's provided coverage for those who give him money. I'll point to his corruption with the meme coin. And I also want to point to that when he was asked why he was pardoning CZ, Trump simply said, "I heard it was a Biden witch hunt, but I don't know who that is." And it seems like there are likely a number of people who are feeding the president information to curry their favor. I can focus on specific key members of his administration as to who specifically I think that we should be targeting, I guess. Maybe that sounds like an extreme word, but I don't feel like it's an
Destiny's just sitting here playing video games while these people are talking. What the fuck? He's playing Final Fantasy Tactics. I can tell with the music because I'm gonna get that game.
Extreme word. But I will say that according to a Washington Post analysis, Trump officials have allegedly defied court oversight in roughly 35% of more than 160 lawsuits. It would be bad for the country to provide an incentive for people like this to run it, I guess, is my position.
Wait, hold on. Wait, are you on our side? Who's on whose side here?
Yeah, I'm on your side. I think. I really want to hear what Connor...
Dude, why is Wick so bad at this, man? I love him so much. But, like, these things should be explained and brought to the forefront before anything starts.
and Prime have to say, because it really depends on.
Wait, do we have
but
sides in
yeah,
this debate? Is this like a 2-on-2, or is it just like 4 of us are just kind of giving our opinions, or what? Wait,
No, it's a 2-on-2.
who's on whose
I
side?
think I'm on.
He's on my
I think
side?
I'm on Steven's side.
Yeah,
I'm on your
stack
side.
teams.
Okay.
Destiny
Did I
versus
sound like I was not on
Counterpoints
your
and
side?
Prime.
Well, you were
You
like,
disagree
I don't know
with
what
the
they're.
debate?
Okay, that's fine. We got it.
Stack
Okay,
teams,
we're
just
good.
real quick.
Okay, just checking.
Wait,
Stack
there's.
teams. Stack teams. Calm down with the questions. The last time you asked someone a question, bad things happen. We don't want that to happen here. Okay.
Jesus
We're gonna keep it.
Christ, chill. But also, I asked a question, so it's all
Jesus.
good.
Wait, I think there's like 3 different. I don't know if they're specifically saying crimes haven't been committed. I don't know if it's specifically that like.
Sorry, if you don't know, this is the guy who asked the last question to Charlie Kirk before he got killed.
Too far.
Oh, he asked a question to Charlie. Oh,
So I kind of wanted to hear which of those 3 sides. I'm against all 3 of them, but I wanted to specifically hear which of those 3 sides they're on.
Okay. We're gonna get to it. Don't worry. Counterpoints. Go ahead. Why don't you educate the man?
Yeah, thank you. So I side with the intellectual PF Young in that Trump is a symptom, not the disease. He's a symptom.
I mean, I agree with that too. Trump is a symptom of the overcorrective political control from the top down that the left had. And it was more not necessarily coming from like the White House or the left itself, but it was like a corporatism of PC culture that people are just rejecting. And then Trump isn't necessarily the cure to that. He's not even an antidote. He's more along the lines of like just a byproduct of that. Yeah, that makes sense. But I hate PF Young, man. His political spotlight videos are hilarious, but I feel like the guy's just a secret Nazi, dude. I really do. He even looks like one.
Symptom of several factors that are out of control. I would say wealth inequality, rapid demographic change,
True.
existential
True.
technological shifts, and the
True.
dissolution of the social fabric are the things that are
Not
pushing
true.
people towards radicalism. And so, once again, Trump is the symptom, not the disease. So unless we start addressing those things, we're screwed because we're just going to have another Trump.
Yeah, but see, like the way that Connor and PF Young are looking at this incorrectly is that just because Trump may not be like the source of the problem, and then that there's a systemic problem that exists within our idea of culture that's perpetuating Trumpisms and stuff like that, and people to be as radical as Trump is, we still have to punish those that do wrong in our society because we still have rules to follow. Just as like when someone is addicted to drugs, you do everything in your power to help them get off drugs. You have to stop them from taking the drugs to get them clean. It's no different, dude. We need to hold our society accountable for the things it does, and then work on remedying the problems that cause those things at the same time. There are 2 things going on at one time. Anyone that's gone through addiction stuff, you learn that you doing drugs is not necessarily the problem. It stems from like a psychological thing or some form from trauma or, some need that wasn't met as a child or just a searing depression caused by your temporary situation. And you use the drug as a vector of like gaining control of a situation, no different than cutting. We should still hold people account for the things they do when they do these things, but then we should look at ways that we can address the systemic issues, maybe the PC culture and telling people that certain political ideologies aren't allowed, the cancel culture bullshit, or the constant deplatforming or going after people's jobs over mean tweets, all of these things are helped permeate a culture that just has turned against the left in so many different ways. Like another problem that we're having is that, for a long time, the left was huge into the feminism thing, and you should be. Women deserve equal rights to men. But as we started seeing the spectrum shift and women were more equalizing with men, we saw boys and young men starting getting left behind. And then when we brought those statistics up, for 20 years, you were called what? Dog shit? You were called sexist? You were called homophobic? You were called a misogynist just by stating that some men are being left behind. The radical rhetoric of the left created echo chambers for people like MAGA to fall into. And it was more of a rebuke than it was to the current culture that was, permeating throughout our society. At every job you were working, within like even comedy was suffering. Like you had people going after Dave Chappelle for trans jokes and stuff like that. All of this is something that I always say led to Donald Trump getting elected. The culture war bullshit, the PC culture, the lies that we saw from the mainstream media around the Kavanaugh kids, around Kyle Rittenhouse. Like there's so many topics that they kind of dropped the ball on. And, you know, I'm not saying that they have a easy job or anything like that, but none of these people were really held to account. Many of these people are still working in the media that just blatantly lied to everyday Americans. Many of their stories weren't retracted. Many of them didn't come out and apologize. The Young Turks ran the lie that Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines illegally with a firearm for about 2 years. Even to this day, they don't surrender their position on the particular topic. All of these things conflate people into a certain direction. Like, all of these compile over and over, and you feel a hand telling you how to act, what to do, what to think. And just like it didn't work when we were teenagers, it's not working as we're adults. We do not want to be told what to do. It's just that simple. People like the idea of freedom, even though free will as a concept doesn't exist if you believe in the ability of time. Anyway, that was a long tangent. What up, Lou?
In another 4 years or another 8 years or another 10 years or 12 years. When it comes to Nuremberg is obviously reminiscent, or actually I think directly referencing, the Nazi trials. Now, people have heard me. I've complained endlessly about the hundreds of thousands of people who have been killed by Trump's incompetence through the cuts of USAID and PEPFAR. I still would not assign the level of, while hundreds of thousands of people, potentially millions, will die as a result of Trump's incompetence, I don't think it rises to the threshold of intentional industrial style.
No, what the fuck? Why would we not hold him accountable when even his experts came to him and told him, yo, this is probably a bad idea. We had people around the board telling Trump not to do these things. He should be held to account for the things that he's decided to do.
Genocide. And so I feel like, I hope that's...
No, of course, they're not a genocide, but it's still a travesty. It's still I would consider it, even though it's not a war, something akin to a war crime. What? Especially because he broke the Constitution to do it.
Hyperbole. Also, I think that we should differentiate could versus should, because we should do a lot of things. Like Destiny should just send me $100,000 via PayPal right now, but that's not going to happen, right? So, could that happen? Sure. But what's actually going to happen is the Republicans are not going to want to impeach him. He's probably going to pre-pardon his entire administration and pre-pardon himself. And then the only thing that you could probably do is a January 6th style commission that I would actually be in favor of. But no.
Or no, we just take him out back, put a gun to his fucking head and say, you've been evicted from our fucking White House. I mean, excuse me. No. If he wants to be a king, we can overthrow him like a king. It's that simple. You want to rule like a king, you can live like a king. Kings typically die when they're thrusted out of power. If that's the route we want to go, you know what I mean? No. If you believe a civil war is brewing, fuck that. Donald Trump needs to be punished. Anyone else would be.
I don't think we're going to be able to hang these people. I don't think we're going to be able to criminally convict them. I don't think that dragging it out for 2 years is a good idea. So that's...
Fuck that. No, we need justice. The world needs to see justice done. What the fuck? Donald Trump has killed hundreds of thousands of people inadvertently through his cancel of U.S. aid. Like you just said, motherfucker, maybe even millions. He needs to pay a price for that. He broke our Constitution to do it. He didn't follow any fucking basic structure of our government. He didn't follow like the pre-established, norms that we have had for 200 and fucking something plus years. Nah, fuck that. If Donald Trump, the fucking pedophile king, is not held to account for his crimes and his fucking cronies, where they've siphoned billions of dollars from the American people and other goddamn governments, fuck that. If they aren't held to account, then no law exists in America and no one should follow it. You hear me? If Donald Trump is not held to account, it means kings are treated differently in a country that's not supposed to have them. Don't follow any laws. Don't pay your taxes. Go do whatever the fuck you want. Why would you listen to laws when people aren't held to account to them? And it only applies to you, the piece of shit servant, the serf that exists to be led. Fuck that.
What I'm here to fight on.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. We'll get into it as we go. Let's give it to Prime next. Go ahead, Prime.
God.
I'm in Staxium's position. In that.
Oh shit!
In that
3v1.
I'm leaning no. All right, so I'm on Counterpoint's side. All right, for Steven's benefit. But I'd like to hear the other side to understand their arguments, their positions. Oh, and also, just before that, I want to thank Wick for being so kind as to invite me. Glad to be here.
This guy's held so many debate panels and he's debated so often. Why is he so bad at relaying information? Like, dude, look at the camera, stop reading your shit, and just speak, dude. You're gonna fuck shit up. You're gonna say the wrong thing. Stop being fucking worried. Who gives a fuck if people think you look stupid? I do it every day. I don't give a fuck, dude. Just be stupid. You know what I mean? If I was super smart, I'd be like fucking being a doctor or some shit. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Who gives a fuck what people think about you, man? Stop being worried, bro. Fucking say it with your chest, dog. What the fuck?
Prime and Destiny reunited after like 2 years. It feels so good. But anyway, thanks so much.
Oh, okay. I guess.
So I think Prime Kames was Kames. I don't know how to say his name. I think he was canceled for something, but I don't remember what it was. But I know Destiny sided with him and said whatever it was bullshit, but I didn't look into it because I don't care.
We'll go to Destiny then.
There needs to be big memes. I think that there are 2 parts to it, 3 parts maybe. The first part is the insurrection for every single person involved in this administration, mainly for the point that none of the people that are supporting Trump now in office should be allowed to run for office ever again in the United States.
True! These people should be fucking evicted from fucking life. In office, not like killed. Okay? Unless like they're found guilty of actual crimes, then, you know, fucking hang them. I don't give a shit. But bro, they need it. No, all of them. JD Vance can't run. Stephen Miller should never be allowed near any fucking campaign ever again. Donald Trump needs to be hung, and, you know, every dealing in his personal business needs to be stripped apart. You know what I mean? His families need to be investigated. Like, all of that shit needs to happen, bro. And hell, who's that fucking dipshit fucking congressman or whatever who always looks like a former obese Adam Sandler and his face looks like it's a molding fucking 97-year-old vagina? I can't remember it, dude. Letterman? No. Fetterman or something like that. That guy can fucking get it too, dude. What the fuck?
For America. That's the first thing. The easy way to do this also is if Trump starts pardoning everybody, well, if he's pardoning people, pardon is an admission of guilt, charge them with insurrection. You can charge them, consider them pardoned, and now they've qualified for being charged, convicted, and they've been pardoned of the crime. Doesn't matter. The pardon doesn't get rid of the part of the 14th Amendment that would say you can't hold an office again, so fuck them. So that's number 1 and 2. Okay? Number 3, the smallest criminal thing, investigate every single person was part of this administration and get as much out into the open as possible. I think the important thing about stuff like Nuremberg, the important thing about...
Exactly, bro. This way, if someone ever gets the idea that they can try this shit again, no. America needs, you know, I say the founding documents were a very beautiful document, but they're not flawless. We need more corrective measures put in place and stricter guardrails enacted so that things like this don't happen. And I think that we do need to sign a Supreme Court clause for these people to actually act in accordance with the Constitution and not for their own personal bias. Another week of bullshit. He was cool for about 10 minutes, then the Israel thing broke him.
About these big public trials is there needs to be a public accounting of everything that's happened.
True.
And for whatever causes lead into people wanting to vote for Trump, they are absolutely fed into by the misinformation and by the historical rewriting of everything that's happened. And we need to be able to have an honest account of what's happened historically. Right now, half the country doesn't believe that Trump lost the 2020 election. Like, we can't go forward in an environment like that. And simply changing leadership in the Conservative Party is not going to undo all of the incorrect things that Republicans believe have happened. Trump.
Yes, we need a reformation. We need to be on the same page about fucking history and what it means to be an American. If we don't agree on the same fundamental rules, how the fuck are we supposed to live with one another? I'm not saying that you have to have the same God, you have the same creed of, like, you know, religion, or the same idea of, like, you don't have to suck America's dick when you live in America. But when you come to America, there should be a handful of things that we all agree on. One, you have the freedom of religion. Okay? I don't like religion. I think religion is fucking disgusting. But it falls under freedom of speech. So you get to pick your God. You get to go into your house and believe whatever crazy bullshit you want to. That is called freedom of choice. You need to allow people that, because freedom is like the core principle of America. Individualism. It's why we don't fully operate as a democracy. We operate as a pseudo-democracy along with a constitutional republic that, like, undergirds our entire society. Because this way the individual is still held as the paramount, you know, person. Like, that's why we have the Bill of Rights. No one's allowed to infringe on your rights without extreme duress. Okay? Like, there are times where your rights can be, you know, null and void depending on what's happening, but it's a very rare thing. It's very rare.
In the Conservative Party is not going to undo all of the incorrect things that Republicans believe have happened. Trump was not a mistake. Like, Trump was a natural consequence of Republican demagoguery and Republican rhetoric and Republican strategy for the past 3 decades. It's no surprise we wound up here, and to act like it would be to ignore the fact that Trump 2 could come, you know, right around the corner.
So, I mean, he's a little wrong, though. I mean, yes, he's right in that, like, the rhetoric from influencers, from, like, what the fuck's his bitch ass name? Like Rush Limbaugh, you know, Glenn Beck, Bill O'Reilly, you know, the cool head drinkers, or, you know, you've drank the Kool-Aid, or terror sympathizers would be something they throw around. They always use these buzzwords. They always build up the fear of immigrants and all this. Like, that's been happening for fucking ever. And that has been ratcheting political tensions among the conservative viewer base for years. But by and large, up until Trump took office, a majority of Republicans stuck to the whole, I like you and you like me, I believe in Jesus, you know, like, we're all good Christians around here, and good Christians love one another, you know, just, you know, let's keep the money train going and send our jobs overseas, you know. They, like, played it close to the chest, you know what I mean? Trump came out initially, and, like, the entire establishment was against him. Like, they'd be like, who the fuck? Get this joker off the stage, bro. Get this fucking clown out of here. I remember watching him interview with Bill O'Reilly in 2014. And Bill O'Reilly was like, what would you do about policy? What would your policy be on this particular issue? And I think it was, like, healthcare or something. And then Trump would just come out and be like, I got a plan. And then Bill O'Reilly would come out back, you need to fucking tell people the plan. Like, he was getting mad and, like, get this fucking retard off my show. And then 2 years later, he's bending the knee and kissing the ring. But what Trump realized early on was you didn't need to rely on the media establishment. The people were already amped up. They were already angry. We already saw this through the years of cancel culture, the years of Gamergate, the years of, like, you know, mansplaining, and the constant fucking culture war of feminism and all this other shit. All of this shit was leading to something. And Trump realized that people were just unhappy. And they were saying how they were unhappy in different ways. Sometimes they were being very vocal. Sometimes they were complaining about, like, a price of a sprite, a skin sprite in, like, a fighting game. All of these are intentional. You know, they're all just ways to vent frustration. Trump and what's-his-ass forgot headphones so hard to stay. Random fuck bomb stand out too much. I'm sorry. But yeah, they're over here on the Xbox. But anyway, all that to say, Trump realized that you didn't have to appeal to the establishment. The establishment was never going to give Trump their grace. They still don't. Like the leaked text messages from Tucker Carlson go over that a great deal. Fox doesn't like Trump. Fox never wants Trump. Fox wants Trump's gone, dude. They want him out of office. But they have to keep playing defense for him because he is the Republican Party. Trump realized that the way that he can gain control of the Republican Party was through his constituents. At the end of the day, the people are the ones that decide things, and the people were the ones that were, fed a steady course of anti-immigrant bullshit. They were also fed a steady course of culture war propaganda. They were, all these terrible things. So they were primed and ready to jump on the hateful bandwagon that Trump was going to start engineering to be his movement. And there's a reason why so many of them are so violent, disgusting, and horrific. And they're completely devoid of logic and reason.
Okay. And does that educate everyone on everyone's position, or is everyone clear now? Can we move forward, or do we need further edification?
I mean, we'll get it as we continue. I'll ask
What's up, Stuart? I want that Red Bull, Destiny. You son of a bitch.
a question, if I can, please. Right? So, Stephen, hello, hi. The last part of what you said talked about revealing the truth, right? Like correcting the record. And I'm certainly not against that. But, it seems like you're specifically trying to correct the record for the Trump cult. Do you believe that public trials will actually do that?
Yeah, I think if the information is out there, I think it becomes much harder to ignore what's actually happened. Yeah.
But yeah, mainly because the main way that every MAGA person tries to diffuse your argument is they'll be like, "Oh, I haven't heard about that. Let's focus on this trans issue, or let's focus on Biden's age, like something that we could all see." The Trump people will always, the MAGAs, the MAGTards, the MAGA fuckwits. Yeah, that'll do it, Nikki. The fuckwits, right? These people don't know the facts of the matter. If they know the facts of the matter, or the corruption that Donald Trump's doing with his crypto scams, they would be against it. But this shit isn't explained to them by Fox News or Newsmax, and then the only people that are trying to explain it are the people that got caught lying 4 years ago about COVID shit. So, I mean,
I think it helps.
Information's out there now, right? It's
Not
been
in
out
an
there.
easily accessible way. It's buried behind PDFs and buried behind commissions and buried behind.
yeah, Prime is being ridiculous here. You have to go looking for it. If you were to go look directly for it or not use AI, people would have to step out of their content slop bullshit in order to go find it. And that's just not part of our programming. We want another episode of our favorite TV show. We want another song. We want another YouTube video. We're just programmed to consume. And it's supposed to be palatable, easy, digestible shit. In order to go read a court document, you have to go out of your way. You have to learn how to read whatever the fuck you're reading. There are some words in there that people can't even fathom what they mean. And court documents are usually written in lawyer jargon bullshit. Dude, they're unclear on purpose.
And stuff that, one, it didn't get the full public attention that it deserves, and then two, the people who denied all of that information were rewarded by still being able to run for office and hold office. I think that if you do this mass insurrection charge or whatever you have to do to get all these people to never be allowed to run for again, then there will be, going forward, probably more of an...
Yep, just watched another high-end reaction before that. Exactly. Threatening the lives of Democrats as Trump did last week is beneath contempt. Exactly, dude.
Incentive to be well, fuck, maybe we shouldn't just lie blatantly about everything that's happening because there are going to be political consequences for us down the road.
True. We have to set precedent. It's a shame that we have to set this precedent in our country, but if a politician is lying blatantly to its constituents, it should be held, I would, dude, you can't hold them for, defamation because that's not, a thing, and we don't really have a charge for just lying, but, bro, you should not, we should be able to charge people for misleading propaganda, dude. I feel like we should be able to do that. But then the problem is no religion would be able to religion.
I agree with the last part, but I disagree with the first part. The information's absolutely out there. That Did Trump's was the 2020 election stolen? No, right? Documentaries galore, videos out there, right? Like,
yeah, but they're long, drab, boring, and no one cares. And algorithms don't work that way. Unless you're on X, dude. No, dude. The algorithm is going to feed you stuff that it thinks you like. Not go feed you stuff that like goes contrary to your beliefs and not watch it, because then they don't get any watch time and then they don't make any ad revenue. The stuff is out there, but it's not accessible because people have to step out of their comfort zone to access it.
News segments about all of that exists, right? Articles.
Yeah, articles on papers no one reads. News segments on TV shows that no one watches. Do you not, like, just because you have access to them, your algorithm feeds you that because that's something that you like. These are things you like. What?
Digital ink spilled, yet it persists. So I don't. I disagree. At least for now, I can be convinced otherwise. But I disagree that simply having some grand trial where
I'm going to be listening driving because I have some errands to do because it's Thanksgiving week and I don't want to deal with all the people off work as they week continue. Exactly, dude.
the heroes of MAGA
Well, be safe, Nikki.
are put before right? A tribunal where they can be where Fox News can position them as heroes against.
Yeah, but Fox News shouldn't exist either. They are a news organization that got sued for almost $1 billion in defamation. It was like a tune of $800 million for lying about the Dominion lawsuit or the Dominion voting machines and like the insurrection. Like, Jesus Christ, it cost Tucker Carlson his job.
The resurgent democratic regime, right? I disagree that will necessarily lead to a brand new age of truth for the MAGA cult. No.
Are you against criminal prosecution writ large?
Absolutely not. Oh, absolutely not. I can assure you I'm not.
Okay, what if we find like a number of Trump officials criminally liable?
No, Stacks.
And like
the thing that I'm pushing back against right now is simply that the claim that he's saying this will edify the MAGA cult. I don't think that will. I'm not sure anything can act.
Fox is just hilarious these days. We have a TV station like Fox News called GB News. Oh my God, bro.
Actually do that.
I think that if the Mar-a-Lago case would have gone through, I think that would have been very damaging to him, and it would have been much harder to deny everything that happened there. But a lot of people just don't even know the details of it because that court case never happened. I think it would have been good for that to happen.
True.
Okay, sorry, I just have to mute myself in two locations, but I do want to jump in. So, can we separate out like probability versus should real quick?
Canadian
so
Fox.
Probability. If we had to put it on a probabilistic scale of like 0 to 100, what Staxiums and Destiny? What do you think the probabilistic scale is that this, like, there's even the political will for this?
Oh, probably.
Why is he getting into philosophical jargon bullshit? And he's going to try to use like an argument about probability that it might be hard to do, so that we shouldn't aim to do it. And like, what are we going to make a conservative argument that we shouldn't spend money on these things because it may not amount to anything? How about the pursuit of justice? How about showing the entire world that when someone raises to a dictatorship in our role and then actually destroys our relationships globally, that we're going to hold them account for the things that they've done and the people that they've harmed and the lives they might have potentially ruined? Like, I'm sorry, you're the president of America, one of the strongest nations in the world that has the strongest military and that has some of the most money around. The decisions you make impact the globe, unfortunately. And Donald Trump made a lot of shitty decisions that have kind of destroyed some of our status quo on the planet. No, he needs to be held to account for these things. And then no Republican should defend this because he stepped all over the Constitution to do it. Like, what the fuck, man? Have morals just once in your life. Be like, hey, Donald Trump did something really fucking bad, and let's not give him a way out for fucking once.
Quite low, I would say, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I would tend to agree.
Okay, so what we're really talking about is like moral should. We're just this is an ideal. Well, ideally, I would fire Trump from a trebuchet into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, that ideally that's what I would do. You're not going to find anybody sweeping for the Trump admin on this side of the aisle. I think what we're talking about is now that we've eliminated that as I am not legally permitted or morally permitted to fire Trump out of a trebuchet into the Atlantic Ocean. Now we can kind of move into like what's politically pragmatic about the situation. And when you appeal to
Why would we appeal solely to pragmatism? Why would we do that? This man took office, led our nation, made a lot of decisions that have killed a lot of people. He's lied about so many things to the American people. He's increased our prices. He's pushed us into a damn near. We're no longer in stagflation. They're projecting a full blown fucking economic potential collapse in the next 10 years because of the shit Donald Trump has done. He's ruined your lives, the American lives, the children that are currently alive, those that will be alive in that time. He's single-handedly almost destroyed our school boards and the fucking way that we actually, fund our schools. He's disagreed with the courts like 100-something plus times. He's literally sent people out of our country without following due process. He's broken every fucking norm that we have. Why would we give him saving grace? If Donald Trump refuses to leave office or he does anything to impose any kind of ill will, which he's already done, especially since last week, we should put Donald Trump in the middle of a fucking plaza, let every immigrant that's come to our country fucking throw a stone into his orange, pudgy fucking face so his supposedly perfect body, peak physical health might be able to resist the stones since he's so powerful. He's like God given to this country. He'll be fine. Every fucking immigrant, all 20 million of them, since that's the number we're at now, apparently, because he keeps multiplying by 1 million every time someone fucking talks about it. They can all just grab a goddamn fucking stone and start chucking into this motherfucker. And then when those 20 million are done, the 60 fucking million Americans, the Democrats that voted against him, can throw a stone in his face. And then the fucking 6 states whose rights he circumvented on January 2020 with his fucking insurrection can throw stones at him. And then if he survives through all of that because he's so perfect and immaculate, and then he's a god on fucking mortal earth, he can line up to a fucking trebuchet and we'll fire his ass into the ocean. Now, you know what? We'll fire him towards goddamn Russia. Maybe he'll land on Daddy Putin's dick.
pragmatism, I actually don't think that the Nuremberg-style trials would be helpful at all. I think you would be creating a cult of personality. I think you'd be creating a persecution complex, especially without criminal.
They already exist, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? They already have a... If you want to be a part of this cult, you can get the trebuchet too, bitch. What the fuck? Oh my God.
Convictions, especially without the mass insurgency thing. You can do the January 6th style committee where you document all of the alleged crimes and probable crimes of the Trump administration, but without convictions and without prohibitions from office. I think this is a waste of political capital. And
No. You're the type of motherfucker that says, you know what, those people that wanted to keep humans as slaves should be forgiven for their crimes. Fuck you, Connor. What the fuck is this?
I think that what's going on, like I said, is that there are...
Also, you got to remember, Connor is a Republican, okay? He wants to torch our political capital so that other Republicans can win. He is the only person on this panel who doesn't want a Democrat to win in the next election. And given the opportunity, if Massey were to run, he would vote for Massey every time. Connor is not our ally. Why the fuck would we listen to Connor on this? He's against us with Trump. And we're seeing that he doesn't even want to go after Trump's allies. So he's not even really with us against Trump. You're not a liberal, bro. You're not a fucking Democrat, bro. Why the fuck do we care about your opinion about what our party should do? You want our party to lose. What?
4 sociological variables that are contributing to people being radicalized. And if we don't address those, and if we don't spend political capital on those, we're fucked.
Well, I would say that one, these for the Mar-a-Lago thing, for instance, that would be a trial. Like, I'm sure there are chargeable offenses here that we can literally have a trial and have people locked up for. Number one, and number two, I would argue that one of the big things that is a sociological variable playing into the decision making of these people on the right is that there really is no punishment for acting the most unhinged way possible. They're still allowed to hold office. They're allowed to lie with impunity. There's no punishment. Like, going forward, if there's not a reckoning, you would be an idiot as a conservative to not act in the same manner because you've constantly been rewarded for it.
And we see evidence of that, dude. Trump got his ass blown out in 2020. It was a massive blowout. 1, they still say it was stolen. 2, they led an insurrection against our country. 3, they null and voided the independent rights and individuals of 6 different states, which is about millions of Americans lost their vote because Donald Trump said that he's above their decision to vote, which goes against the Constitution and goes against individual autonomy and goes against individual liberty. Like, it breaks every norm in our society. And we don't allow that. And no Republican should, but they don't give a fuck. So, I mean, from now on, I think the Democrats should cheat every election, dude. We should just say, no, we always win. Why should we not? It did nothing to stop them because in 2024, Donald Trump won again. He ran on the same policies and then running on the fact that his last election was stolen, and he won the popular vote for the first time in like 60 years. A Republican won the popular vote. Where was the punishment? There was none. He got exactly what he wanted. Donald Trump is in office. Donald Trump now is billions of dollars more richer than he was before. Even if Donald Trump gets to sit in office for another 3 fucking years, he made so much fucking money that nothing's going to change what he did. He's going to pardon her, dude.
I don't agree with that, actually. So I think that what's happened, at least this is my view on it, the Trump cult has painted itself into a corner where they've put all of their hopes and energy and political capital into a single man, a very flawed man, someone who at minimum within the next 6 months is going to be probably exposed as either covering for an ephebophilic sex trafficking ring or participated in an ephebophilic sex trafficking ring. Those are like covered for is the best case scenario.
I know that you're trying to be accurate, but let's just call it what it is, okay? He might have been an ephebophile, but there was some pedophile shit going down. Donald Trump, even if he's an ephebophile, okay? Even if, right? Not a big if. Actually, he's an ephebophile. Donald Trump is still covering for a pedophile ring. They still had children they trafficked. If you want to be accurate, let's get really accurate, Connor.
Bannon was communicating with Mr. Jeffrey Epstein as recently as 2017. Like, I think there might even be some text messages from 2019. And, Steve Bannon was Trump's campaign manager. So the whole point about this is like, And
Steve Bannon saw the effectiveness and the power of the Gamergate movement and has manufactured many thought leaders in that direction. People like Sargon of Akkad played right into their political paradigm, and we're all stuck because of it. And I'm guilty too, because I was part of that same fuck the corporate media telling us these video games are good when they're just getting paid to do that, and they're fucking producers, and fuck that, dude. But anyway, that same rage translated to MAGA. Gamers got caught up. Exactly, bro.
To take a huge black eye. In the midterms, the Republicans are probably going to get shellacked. And then when he's gone...
Everyone keeps saying Republicans are going to get smacked down. And what a bold statement. I don't believe that for a second. Okay? We thought that Donald Trump was going to get beat down every time he stepped to the ballot, and we've been right once. And he literally had to use an insurrection to attempt to overthrow the government. We have no idea what these fucking retarded Americans are going to do. Okay? They're going to full send it, dude. I would not be surprised if America gets behind Trump and everyone just starts making laws where it's okay to fuck kids or something again. I guarantee you, Trump is more powerful than their religious morals ever were. Bro, they're defending fucking 15-year-old kids right now on Twitter. They're defending that. Okay? We have no idea how the fuck this is going to go.
There's nobody who commands the same level of Trump cult of personality. And I think JD Vance has been tapped on the shoulder as the next like MAGA prince. But I think that JD Vance is an infinitely more pragmatic person than Trump ever was.
JD Vance is more dangerous, and that's why we need to stop him from potentially running. Stephen Miller needs to be behind bars, if not hanging from a tree when he's ousted from control from that government.
I don't disagree with you, but it doesn't change anything I'm saying. Like, if you're JD Vance, or if you're anybody in the next part of the Republican establishment, whatever comes after MAGA, if you see that the last part of the establishment got completely screwed by acting in just a blatantly illegal manner, then you have less incentive to do so. But if you see they got away with so much stuff, then that's all going to be in your playbook. Like,
he's talking about a basic tit for tat. If you do something, you don't get punished for it. You reinforce the idea that you should do it. If you do something and get rewarded for it, it definitely reinforces the idea that you should do it. It's the same way that you train dogs. Sometimes it's not correct, but you know, if a dog can correspond someone that gives them food, they're more likely to be kind to that person because they're more likely to get food. If a dog sits and you give it a treat, it's more likely to want to sit because it's going to want to get a treat. Tit for tat. It's a very simple concept in like psychology, bro. It's super simple. If you do something and you're rewarded for it, you're more likely to continue that process. They got nothing but rewards for their terrible bullshit, and they continue to get free wins because of it. They aren't changing unless we force them to change. If you slap me, I slap you back. That has to be that's like the rule of the universe. Eye for an eye.
okay, well, what rules can I break or bend?
But I don't think he has the riz. I don't think he has the
Vance
riz.
doesn't, but Trump did. Nobody knew that Trump was even coming. Who's to say there's not going to be somebody like Trump in the future?
Yep.
I mean, the argument right there is whether or not the dissident right wing or the Christian nationalists are going to produce a Trump-like figure who's charismatic to win in mainstream politics. I mean, that's what Nick Fuentes is hoping on, actually.
Sure, but if somebody produces that figure, they're more likely to, ascend to the throne and operate in an unhinged manner if they feel like there's no punishment for doing so.
True. We need to reset the playing field. These are the rules. You will fucking stick within them, or you're not allowed to play.
Well, I agree, but then, okay, so right now, let's talk about it from a process of function, okay? So we have a process of function where effectively what you're saying is we could still do, if they did mass pardons of the Trump admin, what would you charge Marco Rubio for as the person who was running the Department of State under Trump?
I would go through every one of Marco Rubio's text messages, found where he lied to the American people, and then charge him with sedition, put him up to 5 years in prison, or hang him in the streets. But that's just me.
Too.
I think if they historically, a pardon has been seen as an admission of guilt. It's part of it. So if they are pre-pardoned, then I would just formally just charge them all with insurrection and then say that they're pardoned from it. And then at the very least, that bars all of them from running for any public office again.
True. It should work that way, but the Supreme Court would do something to defend all their boys.
But what's your evidence? Because as far as I know, Marco Rubio wasn't involved in the fake elector scheme or January 6, 2021.
Give a fuck. He's a part of it and he supports the current administration.
Participated in insurrection.
He runs defense for an administration that did that on the American people. He's guilty by proximity.
He participates in the current administration, and he's more or less a supporter. He's a cabinet member.
So how? Just to be clear, how far does that go down? So to
every single elected person in the Republican Party right now, except for the never Trumpers. Every single person in the Republican Party right now, except for like the never Trumpers. So like your Masseys, I guess, maybe your Rand Pauls.
Yeah, that's obviously political suicide, wasting political capital. It's effectively a meme. Nah,
dude, make them all suffer, dude. Let them all know they're on the chopping block. That's what they're trying to do to us. Why would we we have to play the same game, dude. We can't just roll over and let them fucking do whatever the fuck they want to us over and over and over and over and over, while the entire time looking pompous, like while we're the type of person that just lets someone come in and rape us, and then we just sit there and when they're done and be like, was it okay for you, boo-boo? Donald Trump has done terrible shit. Have a fucking backbone, bro. If it ends the political party, then let them both die. Let two new things come from the ashes. Capitalism at its finest. He
Position. It's not even a real
Yeah, the FBI and yeah, dude.
position.
Okay,
I thought the
so
meme position was where we pretended that the 2020 election didn't happen, and then we doubled down on every single thing we believe, but then we still managed to win in 2025. I thought that was the meme position. But
Exactly. Donald Trump did the exact same. Hey, he doubled down. He went to the Supreme Court and said, "Hey, I need immunity because I did all the shit they said I did, but you need to give me immunity," and they did it. No, you want to live like a king, you die like a king. These be the rules, bitch.
Are you saying even like state senators, like not even national positions?
yep.
Yeah, so disbarring half
City
of
Council.
the political process is not an option.
Yep.
wait a minute. So city council, right?
'em.
You would say
If they're Trumples, hell
all
yeah.
of them.
Get them.
Well,
out
city
of here.
council people very rarely position themselves in party.
I mean,
The takeover of America happened so easily, dude. It happened with memes. It happened because Trump funny, because people don't know how to read. It's so terrifying.
people run. Anyone who runs. He's saying.
And then so everyone now is shocked that Destiny's doing this. And now it's going to turn into a 3v1 on Destiny. And I stand with Destiny on the idea, like, we're not going to be able to charge every one of these people, you know, with a crime. But the idea that if whoever Donald Trump pardons, you should hit them with the title of insurrection. You should. They'll be pardoned for the crime of insurrection. They'll get off scot-free, even though I think they should all pay a price. But they can't hold office ever again. That's actually ingenious. Now, he wants to put that to every Republican. I don't know how you do that, but fuck, dude. I understand the thought behind that. All of these people laid the groundwork for what happened to happen. They allowed it to happen. None of them are standing on their morals. None of them are standing up to Trump. If you don't stand up to Trump, you don't deserve to be in office the next time. We need more Mike Pences. We need more fucking William Barrs. When they came to William Barr and said, you need to do this, even though he's already done shady shit for Trump, he looked to him and said, I'm not fucking saying the election was rigged or stolen. I'm not doing any of that. When they came to Mike Pence and said, you need to fucking make me the president, Mike Pence said, fuck no. When President Trump's people broke into the building, Mike Pence's family was in there. They had to evacuate Mike Pence's family from the building. He was at the exit ramp. He could have left with them, and he said no. He stayed behind and said he's going to certify the vote and do the job that he was supposed to do and fulfill his obligation to the Constitution and the American people. That is a fucking hero. That man should be the hero of the Republican Party. And instead, he's talked down about. He's called a traitor to their movement when he stood by his God, his country, his family, and his obligation to his position. That's what Republicans are supposed to stand for. He should be their hero. But no, it goes to the billionaire that makes fun of autistic kids and reporters and brown people and calls women terrible slurs because they have no morals. They have no fucking principles.
One who runs on the R ticket, right?
Yeah, but city
except
council
for
members
quote-unquote
usually
never
don't have
Trumpers.
our tickets.
I understand that. I'm saying, but the point is he's saying everyone, right? So mayors, right?
Okay.
Whatever.
Anybody that's
If he is a hardcore supporter of MAGA, they need to get out of office. They need to be pruned from civil service. They don't care about people. They shouldn't do the job.
supported Trump, if they weren't actively calling out the Trump admin, if they were ever playing into it or whatever, then they're going. They're part of it.
Hold on.
Good luck with
Listen,
that, Stacks.
so I'm gonna let Prime talk, but I know why I would feel that way. Why the fuck do you feel that way?
What do you mean? Because I think that all of these people have contributed to an authoritarian regime that is the most anti-American regime in U.S. history that has almost brought our country to the edge of destruction.
Okay, but at the same time, we have, when it comes to like,
There is no but. That's the end of it. That's enough
the
justification.
deportations of Andre Hernandez Romero or Kilmar Abrego Garcia, ultimately the courts were still able to reel them in. When it comes to January 6, 2020.
Just because the courts could stop them from committing atrocities occasionally, does it mean what? What are you? Come on, Connor, you're so much smarter than this, man.
And by the way, I'm not defending Trump. I think we should fire him from a trebuchet into the Atlantic Ocean. But when you're talking about this process, Marco Rubio, to my knowledge, did not participate in January 6, 2021. And what he's guilty of is overseeing the decommission of USAID and PEPFAR, which is going to lead to approximately between 3 million and 14 million prevent.
But they also did not follow the proper process to do that. Froze accounts, lied to the American people, and went against Congress and acted before Congress voted on the particular issue. They're the ones that handle finance in the government, bro. They decide where the money goes. You don't get to do that. You went against the Constitution, the document you swore that you would uphold above all else. A failure to do so should not be rewarded. That's automatic termination. That's like a zero-sum game. Okay? Zero tolerance. You do not adhere to the Constitution, you don't get to hold this office. You stepped up to the plate to do an extremely powerful job that requires extreme grace, and you failed to uphold that grace. Human lives are lost because of your inaction. You don't get to just get a pass. You lied to the American people. You deserve to at least be smeared and tarred and feathered for the way that you've treated these people. What do you mean? No, Connor, what the fuck?
Deaths worldwide. That's like a man-made Holocaust through incompetence, but I can't think of I don't know how you would charge him with insurrection for participating in the Trump admin related to being a dickhead.
Because he didn't follow the fucking law!
What, like that?
He aided and abetted the enemies of the state by being
Boom!
a cabinet member
It's pretty simple. What the fuck?
for Trump and doing his bidding.
Wait, but now you're just playing into now this is just the tit for tat bullshit.
Good.
We're effectively like, what is it? Today, the Democrats did a 1-minute video, which I approve of, by the way, saying, hey, military service members, hey, members of the intelligence community, you are sworn to an oath of the Constitution.
Why the fuck do we always have to sit here and do the high road bullshit? It hasn't worked. People don't like Democrats, okay? People think Democrats are holier than thou, and they think they're better than other people. It does not work. People do not like to be condescended to. We cannot always do the high road. If they want to get in the mud, we need to be humans and do the same thing. This, when they go low, we go high bullshit needs to stop. It doesn't do us anything. We spend the entire time fighting with one hand behind our back. What the fuck are we doing? Why do all of these people come on the show and cuck themselves out to the right constantly? Stop it. The right doesn't need to be your daddy. You don't have to be responsive to the right. You can lead every once in a while. You can come out with your own thought and say, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Fuck that. I'm not here to placate people's feelings. What? We're here to fucking enact policy that we think makes the world a better place. And we're not going to be ashamed of that anymore. We shouldn't be ashamed of that. We give people rights. We give people freedoms. We help people elevate their life in ways that no one's ever done before. We want to free the economic burdens of things. We don't need to sit here and tiptoe around shit. We're going to make your life better, whether you want to or not. Fuck you. You're going to get on the page. We're tired of people suffering because of wealth inequality. We're tired of people dying of curable diseases. We're tired of people going bankrupt. Stop standing in the way of fucking progress, dude. Holy fuck.
Constitution of the United States, and you have to remember your oath, and you should not follow illegal orders. Donald Trump, as Wick mentioned,
no, it shouldn't be. You should remember your oath. You should do so by penalty of death. You were elected to an office to do something by people. You need to do your job. You have a higher level of scrutiny put to you. You get mad when people give you the wrong sandwich at McDonald's. You get mad when someone takes too long on your fucking oil change. This is a way bigger issue. You control our military. You control people's fucking lives. You choose whether people live or die. You need to adhere to the Constitution. The Constitution needs to come first above all else. Nothing else matters. If you go against the Constitution for your political party, you need to be excised from the fucking party. You don't get to hold a position of power anymore. You are not adhering to the way our society is structured. Holy fuck, man.
Said these people are guilty of sedition, and the punishment of sedition is death. Okay, so all you're doing is you're just playing into, in my opinion, this this hysteria that every single political fight is existential.
It is.
Well, except
So-
it is on that side. They're the ones that are saying that everything is existential while they're being existential. That's part of their existential fight, is by saying that everything is existential.
No, you're making it existential by saying that if you had the power, then you would disbar them from politics and wielding power altogether.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're literally trying to destroy our country. You fucking moron. You don't put Nazis back in power. What the fuck's wrong with you? Did P.F. Jong break your brain, bro? What the fuck? We have to agree to the same rules. If you don't come to our country and agree to the same rules, you need to get the fuck out. What? We have to have a baseline. Once the baseline is there, such as all people have autonomy, all people are individuals, all people deserve to pursue happiness, all these baselines, then we have freedom. But you don't get to fucking destroy the structure that gives you that freedom. No, you don't get to come to my country and destroy the structure that gives you that freedom. If your idea of freedom is telling other people what to do with their lives, you don't get that right. This is a simple concept. I don't know. How the fuck is he so bright? Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, dude.
But I think I have a good reason for that. They don't have a good reason to say we should execute sitting senators and congressmen.
Facts.
So,
Okay.
we'll
Sorry, Prime,
get
go
back
ahead,
to
but
the-
I got plenty.
I'm sure he's given us plenty, right? But I got one question for each of our friends here. One to Staxi. I'm just going to pull you in
Yeah.
and hear your beautiful voice.
For sure.
How much of this do you agree with? I mean,
Yeah, well,
so to be clear, hold on,
sure.
just let me ask the question, right? Yeah, to be
Yeah,
clear,
for sure. Go for
what Stephen has said is that everyone who has supported Trump, right? I'm assuming he means everyone in office, but I'm not entirely.
How are you not entirely sure? He literally fucking said it, you dipshit. He said all elected officials that ran defense for Trump need to be tried with insurrection. They will be pardoned for insurrection, and then they cannot run for office again because they have insurrection on there. They aren't charged with any actual crime. They're not going to jail. They're not being punished, but they cannot hold office again. If you are willing to take down the mechanisms that allow us to have freedoms, you don't get to work in our elected roles. It's that simple. This isn't an extreme position. If you come out and you wear a Nazi fucking armband and you think that the Jews are the problem with the world, and then like you Zeke Hale every day, you probably shouldn't be an elected official. The same thought process follows along with that. If you're someone who's going to do the same things they would do and deconstruct our ability to be an individual economy or individuals within the economy or within our society, you don't get to be there anymore. You're aggressing on the non-aggression principle, so libertarians should be mad about it. You're infringing on the Bill of Rights, so liberals should be mad about it. You're not accomplishing anything for your Christian orthodoxy, white nationalist fucking super monsters that want to enslave other people because of the color of their skin. You know, your neo-Nazi subgroup that you guys pander to so fucking much. You're not doing anything for them because, you're just exposing them. And then all of us are going to be like, yo, you're not allowed in our society. Flat out. You're just not. Some ideas are not allowed. You're allowed to learn about it. You can go into the history of it, but you're not going to come on our streets and start advocating for putting women's in burqas. You're not going to come on our streets and start advocating for locking up Jews and gypsies. You don't get to do that. You can have whatever personal belief you want, freedom of religion, freedom of belief, but you don't get to fucking put that in our culture. Get the fuck out of here.
Clear on that either.
I think
But-
he said in office.
Okay, well, everyone in office.
Wait,
right?
what would that
even-
other?
Like
What else
anyone who
could it
voted
be?
for him, would we
Yeah, well,
debar
people
who voted?
Yeah, but if you voted for them, that's also support,
The
right?
200
Support
million
for-
people. I assume Steven doesn't think those people.
We can just ask him if he's here.
We shouldn't assume.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
so,
every single person that voted for him because they're also for the insurrection thing. You have to be a prior oath taker, so you'd have to have held public office, and we can't access people's votes. So
Yeah, okay. I'm not taking Steven literally. I'm taking him seriously. Okay.
take me literally and seriously. Yeah, I can be taking both. I'm not Trump. I don't need a translator or.
Yes! Oh my god, dude. I fucking love Destiny, dude. You don't need to just own it. If you have an argument, own it. Stop fucking hiding. Stop working around the edges. Stop fucking having some pussyfoot bullshit. Say what you think and then defend it. That's it. I'm so tired of this vague fakeness that people put on so they can get their radical ideas out there but never say them explicitly. Fuck that, dude. Stop hiding in the dark with your beliefs. Whatever they fucking are, get them out there. If you're wrong, people will correct you. If you're right, well, you're right.
To speak like a retard.
So okay. So Staxium, right?
My implication.
So, like, remember, like, this is why I love Destiny. Destiny does not give a fuck about his subscribers. He doesn't give a fuck about who's watching. He thinks he's right. He's done the legwork in his head to make the statements that he has. He thinks that he's correct, and he's willing to argue and pontificate about whether he's correct or not. All these other guys are here trying to build an audience. They're trying to look smart. They're trying to look suave. They're trying to look correct. They're worried about how they're perceived. This man doesn't give a fuck. And I like that. He's not trying to play to an audience. He's not trying to sound sincere. He's not trying to win any kind of favor. He's just going to voice his opinion. And if the opinion is wrong or not, you're going to have to prove it to him. You know what I mean? He's cost-eyed up to Saudis, got angry when someone from ABC questioned him about the death of an American journalist. Yeah. Bro, Trump is so ridiculous, dude.
There being that Trump speaks like a retard. I wasn't attacking anybody on the panel. That was my thing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. No worries.
Yes, that's
No,
Do you agree with
Yeah. So
you guys go.
No, sorry, I was waiting for him to finish his question. Yeah. So the first thing that I'm going to point out is I felt like Conor was attacking this idea that, like, just because it was Nuremberg, like, we're calling it the Nuremberg trials, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're like making that equivalent to what the Nazis did. Like, obviously what this administration doing is not as bad as the Holocaust, but I definitely, that's why I definitely wanted to hear where people's opinions were, because this is actually, I might even say, more extreme than the Nuremberg trials, because weirdly enough, the Nuremberg
I'm
trials,
going to go grab a...
people were found innocent. Like, I think like a quarter of them, maybe a fifth of them, were found innocent, even like high-ranking officials. And I'm genuinely curious, Steven, like, what do you feel like the Nuremberg trials didn't go far enough? Like, if you were an official, you should have just been sent off to...
The important part, I think, about the Nuremberg trials was exposing everything that happened under the Nazi regime, right? I think that was the important takeaway, yeah.
I'm for that, but I disagree with your... with how specific, like, the fact that any any government official, including like state senators who just voted R and weren't critical of Trump. No, I don't agree with that. Prime, does that answer your question?
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
That feels extreme.
Fair enough. All right,
but I'm certainly for an extreme sense of justice and subpoenaing, and is that the verb? Subpoenaing?
Subpoenas.
Subpoenas. Thank you.
Subpoenas out. I don't know.
Yeah. Regardless, I'm for chucking the book at virtually every Trump official in his administration.
I think it's something that now you have to send the subpoena. Okay, but to Stephen, you said specifically you had a carve out there said except for never Trumpers. How do we determine a person's a never Trumper?
All the people that took at great risk to their own career positions against Trump. So Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger,
Massey,
maybe Rand Paul. He'd be on, maybe.
Sure. Hold on. Yeah. But I hear you on those, right? That's fair. But since we're talking about all elected Republicans, could you tell me the never Trumpers that have run in Orlando, Florida?
Nope.
No, you can't. Okay, all right. So how do we? So above the top line, right? Above below the federal line, how do we determine these individuals? Because all of them may not have been very public, but maybe they didn't. They had private thoughts. They said something to their friends. Is that enough? I disagree.
You would consult the record. They're public officials, so they should have public statements. That would be pretty exceptional for them to have no public statements as public officials.
Yeah, but Thomas Massey voted with the Republicans 91% of the time. Like, he's still in lockstep as far as Trump's agenda goes when it comes to securing the border, when it comes to the big, beautiful bill, when it comes to this, when it comes to that. I mean, he might have fought it at some point, but once again, 91% voting record that aligns with Trump over the past decade.
Okay, you can get rid of them too.
Sorry,
then,
just
if you
to
want.
throw,
Sure. Yeah.
just to throw something. What about Fetterman as well? Does he?
Yeah, he's
would he be
gone.
liable
Yeah,
for
fuck
this?
that guy.
Yeah, because he's like normalized. Like,
I mean, I definitely think fuck that guy, but like, I don't know if he's liable for the
psycho shit. This is my party should rule indefinitely without challenge, and I think it's crazy.
Sure.
I think there's no rooting in reality.
This is why I'm trying to get. That's why I'm asking about details here, right? To like really nail down what the hell we're talking about. Okay, so you're saying they have to have made public statements. Okay, if they were elected within, was it 2027 is the last year of his reign, right? So if they're elected in 2027, a Republican, right? Do they count? Right? Are they up for these trials as well?
If they ran under a Trump ticket, sure. If they were like supportive of Trump, yeah.
Yeah, but hold on, that's not exactly honest because Fetterman has been also very against Trump. Like he's made a lot of public statements, like rejecting Trump. But you also said that Fetterman should go too. So it's.
Has he made a lot of
curious
statements?
what
I don't know.
specifically
I guess you could find some particular issue. Whatever the particular thing is, if you want to concede the argument that you agree that we should do this, and now you just want to argue over the specifics of like who should be included, that's fine. For 90% of elected people, it's going to be plainly obvious. How you would determine people?
I agree with you.
We could leave it up to a court to decide. We could leave it up to a court to decide, or we could leave it up to a commission to decide, or whatever. But like, I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, actually, I'm going to change my mind on this entire idea because there's going to be some edge cases that are difficult to decide. That would.
No. That's fair.
That 55% of the Republican Party should be barred from voting indefinitely. I don't concede
voting. I'm not saying who said voting. I just said holding office again.
Okay, okay, 55%. 55% of the Republican Party voted in order to elect Trump as a first choice during the primary. Let's just say that correlates up to the Republican Party where 55% of the representatives support Trump wholeheartedly as a first choice. I think that separating those people from politics is fucking insane.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it matters here, right? So that, like, if let's pretend I'm a Republican, right? Let's pretend I'm in office, right? If you're saying there's a way out here, well, I care about that way out. Oh, I'm a never Trumper too. I mean, I was always a never Trumper. Didn't you hear me say? Right? Like, maybe on some website somewhere, I said something critical about Trump.
On some website somewhere. These are public officials. They make public statements. They have public offices. They put out public press releases. These are not random individual private citizens. Definitionally, these are public officials.
This is already so absurd that we could just go ahead and concede like a hypothetical in which we were able to perfectly discern every single never Trumper versus every single Republican. It's still a stupid fucking idea. It's still a wildly stupid idea.
We'll do that. Let's do that.
I have a question. When you, and this is for Destiny, if this is the public position that you're advocating for, what incentive does any Republican or anyone who's ever held office under Trump have to ever denounce Trump? Does this not just make them more incentivized to always support Trump? Because if they don't and Trump loses and the Democrats win, then they know that they're never going to have power again. So why would they ever?
Yeah, he's become the boogeyman that the Republicans pretend he is.
Yeah, no, that this whole thing of like become the boogeyman is like raping someone over and over again, saying this person is physically abusive, this person is, and then the 12th time you rape them, they punch you and they go, look at that, you've become the violent person I said you always were. I'm sorry, that's fucking retarded. Also, I don't know why you're speaking hypothetically, Wick. Do people have to support Donald Trump? Otherwise, if they don't, they feel like they're going to be held criminally liable for things. That's literally the entire story of the entire Republican Trump administration. How many people in pardon that have committed crimes either directly on his behalf or on behalf of his administration, or just other crimes and then ended up supporting him? Like, the Republicans already have this thought process, and it needs to be exterminated. The thought process, not the people.
Wait, hold on. This is such okay. The reason why this is such bullshit is because I feel like you just either don't understand or don't want to understand the MAGA narrative and why it's appealing to Americans. The whole narrative is that since World War II, we have had a runaway federal government that has grown and grown and grown and grown outside of the Constitution, The Republicans have been playing footsie with the Democrats forever, and as a result, we now have a wrecking ball. So regardless of whether or not you think Trump is a good person or a bad person, things like cutting PEPFAR and USAID, that's good on a principled stance because billions of dollars shouldn't be going overseas to help people who aren't American. Slashing the DOE, deconstructing the Department of Education. Well, the federal government, realistically, we're 50, relatively speaking, sovereign states who should be deciding our own local affairs. Well, that's a good thing because the DOE, since it's gutted, it's now giving local control to education. You can say that those stories are bullshit. You can say it's nepotism. You can say it's cronyism. You can say all the corrupt things, and I'm probably going to agree with you 7 out of 10 times. But that doesn't mean that people with Americans, especially with the First Amendment, with freedom of speech and freedom of conscience, that doesn't mean that that opinion or behavior should be made illegal. That's fucking insane. That's insane. You yourself are advocating for a position that's contradictory to the Republic of the United States. It makes no fucking sense.
Literally not. We literally have an amendment that literally bars people from committing insurrection and holding public office again. So I think my opinion is much more in line
how has Marco Rubio committed insurrection?
by supporting an insurrectionist.
That's not insurrection.
It definitionally is. Read the text of the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Aiding and abetting is part of an insurrection. Yeah. There's no difference between committing an insurrection and aiding an insurrection. Is by aiding
a person actively participating in an insurrection. Trump hasn't been convicted of insurrection.
You don't have to be convicted for the amendment, but we can convict him by just charging him with the crime. If you charge him with a crime and he's already pled and he's already been, if he's been pardoned.
Let Destiny, hold on. Let Destiny finish his point. Then
if he's pardoned, if he's pre-pardoned, then he's guilty. Then you just say, charge him with it, have him be pardoned, nothing happens, then you bar him from running for office again. So
okay. So Hunter, right now, because you're being consistent, you're just going to go ahead and accept the fact that Hunter is guilty of FARA violations, tax violations, money laundering, and corruption on behalf of the Biden family, right?
Sure. Hunter Biden can never run for public office again. I'll be consistent on that.
Okay, that wasn't even the question. But the whole point is that I know that's bullshit because we've fought about this in the past. All you're doing is you're making a concession because the concession doesn't matter anymore. So what's actually going on here is you're saying that we should bar probably 1/6 of the country from participating in politics once again.
Why do you keep saying, I said elected officials. No, wait, you keep saying 1/6. I'm saying elected officials right now. They're the ones that
elected officials should never have participated within like the cult of Trump or MAGA politics.
True. Yeah. 100%.
This feels just a little bit and I think this is a little bit different from the place that we started at, because you were saying Nuremberg trials, but these don't sound like trials. Like these do sound like if you're part of the admin, you're guilty. But I don't know if that's
if they're going to pre-pardon. If they're pre-pardoning, then we can't have a trial. Now if they don't pre-pardon, well then we can try them all for insurrection. Fuck it.
Sure. Okay. So what? Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, let's say that they don't pre-pardon him. What's your evidence that they're engaged in insurrection?
I don't know. We'd have to figure out what the historical definition of insurrection is, and then I guess we would dig up all the evidence. We do our discovery like a normal trial, and you find everything, and you'd go through all their emails, you go through all their phone calls, you see if they were knowingly violating the
Let's say this would fall flat on its fucking face.
Would it be politically popular? I'm not denying that, of course. Would it be politically unpopular? Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so so what you're saying is you're making a moral statement that 1/6 of political representatives, or actually it would be a quarter because these are elected people, 1/4 of elected representatives should be prohibited from participating in politics.
Yep.
Okay. What if we do these trials? What if there's no pre-pardoning? Marco Rubio gets put on trial and he's found innocent. Like I don't know if I understand even your hypothetical.
Well, he beats his trial, but at least all the evidence will be out there. Fuck it.
Okay, sure. So then I don't know. So, sure, yeah, I
here's
agree
a question
with that.
for the opposite side. Let's say that, wait. Okay, question for the other side. Let's say that there are no trials. Let's say that another Trump comes along. Why wouldn't you support him doing the exact same things he's done now, but worse?
What? Hold on. Sorry.
Why wouldn't you support the next Trump doing the same?
Him doing the next.
No, not you. I'm not asking you. Yeah, elected politician comes about. There's the Trump 3 or whatever. The next Trump comes about. Why wouldn't you support him doing the exact same things that this Trump is doing, but even worse?
Not you. It's
because a general sense. You being MAGA or anyone else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if I were MAGA, what is the disincentive from supporting Trump 3 if Trump 3 was legally possible?
Aren't we incentivizing people to take advantage of the law here?
Ooh.
Without political consequences.
I've probably wrapped my head around the fact that I think that Trump's going down because he's an ephebophilic sex cultist. I would have to say that we would need to reinforce, I think the political capital after Trump should be spent on reinforcing the guardrails around authorization of uses around military force. It should be put to reinforcing the guardrails around executive
Sorry
orders.
about that, guys.
It should be put to trying to get Congress to be more of like that congresswoman said who just got installed, that it needs to be a co-equal branch of government. So
Gotcha.
I
Right,
would
so
actually
just checking.
want
So
to
your check
reinforce all of the
against the
guardrails.
people.
So I love all of that. Donald, like, he's staying on point. He's making his position. He's refocusing his position every time one of these guys asks a strange question. He keeps putting it back on elected officials. Conor keeps going to like all Republicans. Conor is lost in this argument. I understand what Conor's trying to say. It's a dangerous precedent because like we're already creating an environment where one political power is essentially punishing another. That's dangerous because, well, what if it causes people to radicalize? The problem is people are already radicalized, and as long as we have the facts on our side, it's not about political parties. It's about when people are doing bad things, they're punished for bad things.
Republic.
Your check against the people who would support Trump, the next Trump, the people who are openly okay with breaking the law, would be to make more laws?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that would be
also
effective. I
in
think that would be,
reference-
that is,
in
I think
reference
that's
to breaking the
entirely
law,
self-defeating.
In reference to
So yeah, dude. So like, yeah, if these people broke the laws already to do what Trump is doing, laws do not stop criminals. Laws stop honest people. Criminals are going to break them anyway. They don't respect laws. So laws isn't just enough. We need to punish people. People need to know that if they break our laws, there's a consequence to it. And he knows this intrinsically. Conor's a former cop and military personnel. He knows that we can't just go in and slap someone on the wrist and ask them not to do it again. From his law enforcement history, he knows that there need to be punitive damages done as a result of action. That's why we put people behind bars. That's why we strip them of some of their rights and put them in a place to essentially harm them for the decisions they made actively when they had total freedom.
breaking the law, we would have to get into the nitty gritty of it. Because as an example, you said that Trump people have suffered no consequences. That's not true. All the January 6th insurrectionists were incarcerated. There were 1,500 people who had criminal charges.
And then they were pardoned.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with whether or not they suffered consequences. They still suffered.
They're not paying their penance for the crime they committed, though. They were pardoned. So they might have got a little tarnish on their name. Some of them spent a few nights in jail, but they were pardoned. They were their crimes were excommunicated.
Consequences. If you want to put limits on the power of the pardon, then I'm all ears for a technocratic solution.
So,
But I guess my question is, if you're a Republican congressperson right now, why the fuck would you ever support guardrails against the pardoning power when, like, you could just be a George Santos? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just be breaking the law, and then Trump gets to pardon you. Why would you ever try to limit that authority?
Well, I mean, if you had principles, it's because you wouldn't want to see the republic die. And that's
Okay,
what-
great. That's okay. That's a.
You're relying on people to be principled? How did Trump get in office to begin with? We can't rely on principles this time. We don't have a Mike Pence, and we don't have a William Barr, and we don't have people that are going to stand up to Trump. This time, Trump has yes men. Principles aren't always enough. And he knows this. He knows the importance of force. Again, former cop, military guy. He talks about the importance of force all the time. Just crazy that when it comes time to actually apply that force to his own people, he's just like, well, hold on. Hold on. I'm okay with doing it to brown people across the ocean, but Americans? It's like, hold on, dude. They've committed wrongs. They need to be held to account for those wrongs. And he knows that intrinsically. That's why he's saying he'd spear Trump into the ocean with on a catapult, bro.
benchmark the Republicans have not been able to clear.
Actually, I would say that Thomas Massey and MTG have actually
Okay,
stood on relatively strong
You've
political
got
ground
maybe
within the past
5
couple
you
of
can point to. I agree with Massey, okay, even though he's a fucking psycho. He's for sure a never
he's a
Trumper.
psycho.
MTG has like the last 2 weeks out of her. I don't know how long she's been in power. 6 years? That seems too high. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, facts. She's the GOAT for this week. But she also believes the Hawaiian space lasers are there to melt the frogs in your brain and turn you gay.
MTG over the last 2 weeks has
Kinzinger.
changed her tone. Okay, great.
Just to be clear, real
It's-
quick, because I don't want people to think I
That's
agree with
not
that
the
statement.
Republican
MTG
Party.
has not changed her tone. She's just following the political winds. Either she's become a never Trumper.
Well,
If she
sure,
is, it's not
we're
because she's offended by the authoritarian moves that Trump has made. It's just because she sees the politics going in a different direction.
She's not part of the team
course.
anymore, so she's scorned. Sure, but you can do the right thing for the wrong reasons, and I don't really give a shit. But now we've moved the argument from
Yeah, but all you pointed to was 4 people.
of people from voting to
Let Connor
we
finish.
don't have idealistic candidates that could actually reinforce the guardrails of the republic. These are like totally separate arguments.
Well, to be clear, I didn't make that second argument. I don't know where that second weird argument comes from. Maybe Saxion did, but I didn't make that argument.
Okay, well, I think that like spending political capital on reinforcing our republic would be infinitely better spent than trying to wipe out 25% of elected representatives.
Not if those elected representatives hold any power, and they are just going to continue to do the same shit they've done already. And then they're going to feed and foster a community that hates immigrants, and this could always prop up at any given time, at any given moment. We can't just work on the guardrails. We got to work on the systemic issue that for years, the Republican Party has made it okay to hate minorities. For years, it made it okay to hate trans people, gay people, immigrants, anyone with a differing ideology or belief structure. Now, the left has done that too. If you're anyone who has a traditional belief structure or is fond of America or fond of our military, the left has gone after you in droves. But just because the left did it one time or does it doesn't mean the right should. The left made more peaceful echo chambers that would just tweet mean things from the safety and comfort of their home. Meanwhile, the right makes killers. I don't know, man. Those are two different things.
I have a
Funnily
question.
enough, I
Hold
find these
on.
equally feasible.
Yeah,
Like the fact that Republicans would play ball to put back up guardrails that they have disassembled over the last 10 years, it seems equally viable than Stephen's
not
solution.
going to help in that effort. What's not going to help in that effort is saying, "Oh yeah, if we ever do get power, we're coming for that ass. We're going to make
No,
sure."
sorry, what's not going to
You mean
help
like
in
what
that effort is
Republicans?
uniting Republicans.
You mean like what Trump has been saying over and over and over again?
That's literally what got Donald Trump elected. He said, Biden is responsible for your problems. You should have never kicked me out of office. I'm going to come back in there and make you a fuck ton of money. And I'm going after my political rivals because they tried to kill me. That's what Trump is saying. He's been saying it for years, a year or two now. They're coming after me so that I don't help you. Like, I'm going to save you from the evil Democrats. And he's been in office. He's like run the same shit. How many times does this motherfucker talk about Biden, dude? I'd be like, hey, man, what's going on with this peace deal? Oh, it's a war. Biden started it. Biden should have never started the war. You know, I don't know why Russia's attacking Ukraine. Like, okay, dude. Okay.
What, he was able to win the election doing it. Wait, no, he's an elected piece of shit, though, but he won the election. We're not arguing about... No, it's not whataboutism. It's this happened, okay? You're saying that...
I remember one time me and my girlfriend were having a conversation about things that I should say and I shouldn't say and what they're, just normal conversation about how unhinged I can get sometimes on here. And then I remember she asked me a question one time, and it was something like, what type of channel do you want to be? Like, you can't be doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Every major content creator does that. She took that as me arguing for, like, I want to do that. I was just refuting the point she made. And she's like, I don't know. I was just refuting your point. That's all. Like, all these content creators are fucking unhinged, bro. Watch Hassan freak out every day on his chat. Watch Destiny freak out on his chat. Hell, watch Connor. Watch Wick. All these people have little crash outs. So does Mike from PA. You know, even though he's far more successful than I am, he's still a fucking psychopath.
You'll never win an election doing this. Didn't Trump win 2 elections? If you ask him 3 elections doing this? Wasn't his chance in the first election lock her up?
Ran a senile 90-year-old person with his brain leaking out of his fucking ears who couldn't do a debate?
That ran against him in 2016 when he was saying lock her up, we're coming for lock her up?
Wait. What's the point that you're trying to make? If
You're telling me that if you're acting...
Yeah, he's essentially making the point that if we use the rhetoric that we're coming after our political enemies, that we can't win elections and it'd be career suicide. Donald Trump did that. Donald Trump not only did that, he won. And then his people got mad at him that he didn't lock up Hillary Clinton afterwards. Rumor is he thought about it, and then he jokingly said she's been through enough shit, such as losing to Donald Trump. But fuck that bitch. She created Donald Trump.
You're saying that if you act vindictive and evil, no one's going to want to vote for you. Trump ran on vindictiveness all 3 times.
How do you explain the moderate winning in 2020 if everybody is like, so hungry for vindictiveness?
COVID probably had a lot to do with it.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID probably did have a lot to do with it.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not done yet. Thank you. Do you know what had a lot to do with 2024 Trump's win?
Your mom? Sorry.
Democratic incompetence. Democrats seem uniquely capable of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Why the fuck are we talking about the general when we should be talking about the primary? Trump.
Also, more importantly, Democratic incompetence. What are you talking about? Biden had an amazing presidency, and he got more done as a progressive than pretty much any president had done in about 40 fucking years, actually. He managed to recover us from one of the worst pandemics we'd had in over 100 years. And our economic recovery was en route to be the best recovery globally. It still is. Like, we took off during all this. What do you mean? Biden did a tremendous job. He had a hard time at the border. And then he had a bill that was about to be passed to rectify many of those issues. And guess who stepped in and said no? Donald Trump. It's all been reported. All that stuff that we talked about, earlier in this video when Prime and Keynes or whatever said, it's all out there. You can go see it. Yeah, but people aren't looking for it. People don't know this shit. This is only further reinforcing my point. God damn. Comey and James' case both dismissed. What? No, yeah, that's what Trump does. Trump is just funny, dude. That picture of the auto pin for fucking Biden, yeah, that's genius, dude. For humor's sake, but maybe not the best stuff for a president.
Won the Republican majority.
Okay, Trump won. He did. Okay, in the initial primary, 16-1. Okay, like the original primary. In the original,
no, I was saying in 2020,
he won a plurality because all the moderates wouldn't fucking drop out.
No, Trump was the most popular candidate to emerge from the primary.
By the end of the cycle, but
Yes.
I guarantee you that there was like probably 80% of the way through, 90% of the way through, he was still sitting at 37 or 39%.
Yeah, but Ron DeSantis couldn't hold a fucking stage, and Republicans hate women too much to put Nikki Haley in.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that if Cruz or Rubio drop out...
If the Republicans did to Donald Trump what the Democrats did to Bernie Sanders, we wouldn't have this problem.
No,
but at the same time, they did it.
No.
And we can't cry.
Wait, hold on. You're making your argument for us because all you're pointing to is that you don't actually need broad political support in order to push a candidate through.
Well, I have no idea what that has to do with anything I've said.
You owned him. Mogged.
Are you being sarcastic? I feel like
I don't. So I want to.
He's saying so again. Conor did just own himself right there. I mean, I hate to say it. I love my boy Conor. I want to touch tips with him one day in a non-gay way while working out. We're just going to lift weights and do it. It's going to be crazy. Their whole point is he's saying that you shouldn't do these things because there's no political capital to do so, and it would be bad to run on that because you can't win office. And then he just made the argument that no one wanted Trump to win, and he still won. Dude, docking helps lateral shoulder raises. Yeah, dude.
Hold on. I have a question, then I want to give it to Prime. My question, though, is if Staxiums and Destiny, you both acknowledge that this would be politically unviable. Like, there would be no political will for this. This would be very unpopular. It just wouldn't be an electoral winner. Why would you think that advocating for this publicly would make it more likely that you are going to win in the future if you've already acknowledged that this is politically cancerous of a position?
Because then the truth would be out there, and we might lose one election because of it, but then we could win all of the rest, or at least maybe a steady stream of elections where we can make effective changes,
Why the hell would you ever take this position publicly?
Dude, Keynes is wild, bro. He's just doing this because, he knows he's on the bottom. He's watching it. like respect to the bit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
Because you got to fight for the things that you believe in to move the public in that direction, like our fucking
True.
God Emperor Gavin Newsom did with Prop 50. What a king.
True.
Hell fucking yeah.
See, dude, this
What
is
drove
why I'm
Prop
taking
50 was
you seriously,
Texas
but not literally.
and Republicans. But anyway, Gil, go
What
ahead.
was-
Gin Alpha terms are fucking hilarious. Mogged, what the fuck? Ugh. Dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep up with all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I don't know how long I'm gonna go.
In response
on
to
this.
Republican.
Yes, it was. Yes, exactly. It was response to Republican overreach.
And this is a
Right?
response to
And
Republican
so when-
lawlessness.
Yeah.
And this is a response to a Republican lawlessness. Oh my God, Destiny, I swear to God.
When
For
the
sure.
Republicans point to things saying, "Oh, Democrats, public Democratic influencers want to bar all of their opposing, all Republicans from office," right?
Mhm.
They're going to use that to justify people doing some pretty crazy shit on their side.
Like what? Like the
And-
president of the United States coming out and saying some congressman should be executed? Like that kind of crazy shit?
Dude, these guys walked themselves into this shit, dude.
Do you think it's gonna? Do you think it could? Do you think it can't get worse?
Yeah, but it can always get
I don't know
worse.
how
But I mean,
often-
like, hold on, it can always get worse. That's the reason why you take dramatic corrective action right now.
True. Like, what would you do to baby Hitler? It would be an unspeakable act, but it would save millions of lives. Would you stain your hands with the guilt of a killer to save millions of lives in a timeline no one would understand? You would go down in history as a monster. Just some dude that walks in and blasts baby Hitler in the face while he's still in there. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Some people be like, I would get him a girlfriend. I'm like, bro, she's going to make him worse. She's going to break up with him because he's got a small penis and it's going downhill.
Okay, right now, if we're not able to impeach Donald Trump based off of what he's saying right now, you know, what makes you think? Like, okay, so you made the point that you're arguing to move people more in your direction, okay?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is not only are you wasting your political capital now, and you're probably making discourse worse now.
Why every time Destiny comes on this show, these people do these virtue arguments that never like Wick only brings like dude, Wick and Pierce Morgan bring on Destiny for the same thing. Typically it's so that the left with Wick will like, you know, victim blame or bash fucking Destiny's worldview or whatever, dude. They always like they're there to fucking spit morals to Destiny when they haven't proven to have any. And then when he gets invited on Pierce Morgan, he's up there with a bunch of right-wing guys that are like, don't you condemn the political violence? And he'll be like, not until Republicans do. Oh, this is crazy. Like, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
But the jumping over the bar would be trying to impeach Donald Trump now, and we're nowhere fucking near that. Like we're not even close. So
Well,
I
we
don't
can't
even know what
impeach
the
him
fuck
now,
you're
but
doing.
my strategy would have all those current Republicans that are unwilling to impeach him, they wouldn't even be in office in the future. So
True.
Thank
Okay,
God.
I
I knew you
keep, I
wanted-
keep trying to wrap around my head around this fact that effectively you're not trying to eliminate the voter base, if I heard you correct. You're not necessarily trying to eliminate the Republican Party. You're trying to, through effectively, in my opinion, trumping up charges of insurrection.
How are you trumping up charges? If you supported someone committing an insurrection, you are complicit. You are aiding and abetting someone who committed insurrection. We have charges for that already. And he pardoned those people. So Donald Trump is effectively saying those people did commit a crime on my behalf, and I'm forgiving them for that crime because I'm in a position of power. What? That's good enough right there. Just roll with that, dude. You're sold. You know what I mean? It's done.
for anybody supportive of the Trump administration, you're trying to disallow 25% of the representatives of the United States from office.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay. One, what about first-term Trump supporters? Right? It's 2016.
Well, they've
No one who defends a king should be allowed to hold a position of power in our country. Our dictating document is the Constitution. No person comes above that. If you believe a person can come above our Constitution, you do not get to hold office. Your content, the content of your character must be of a higher bar to lead our country. And if you fall short of the content required, the character required, get the fuck out. It is not wrong to ask of our leaders to lead effectively and to have the Constitution in mind when they make decisions. This is not, and it shouldn't just be Republicans. If any Democrats have been found to be doing the same thing, they're out. And then we can put a code of ethics on the people that come into office. If you're caught lying willingly, and then all of their text messages should be gone through by a committee constantly. If you are caught lying to the American people, you're out.
changed their mind.
Trump-
Oh, then they're good now. They changed their mind between Trump 1 and 2.
Oh,
Well, they're
okay,
allowed back.
so now
in.
we-
Whoa.
Now we changed their minds. Okay, great. I'm glad we have that. I mean, I
What
guess
if
that's
what if they change their
something,
mind in
right?
2028?
2027? Yeah.
No, no,
yeah, what-
no, no, no.
No. Okay.
It's just too late. Okay,
When's
there's a
when's the
Absolutely.
cutoff date? Right? Was it? And I'm,
Why does this matter? Get to the point of what he's talking about. We should be going after people that committed crimes and ran defense for crimes. Private citizens should have a lower bar, not a higher one. Those of an elected office should go under a stricter level of scrutiny. No different than an officer, no different than a soldier. You are accepting a higher base level of responsibility. Your ability to uphold, your integrity is of a higher quality. That's why you're leading and not following.
I'm honestly
Cutoff
asking
date?
this. Hey, is it-
Cutoff date was January 20th when Biden came into office.
when Biden came into office.
It was January
All right.
7th, 2021 or 2021.
Okay, right.
The
So
day
I
after,
guess
you have to
my-
look at your hands and see the blood on them.
So I have, okay, I have a problem with what Destiny is proposing, right? And I'm guessing there's a lot of room for agreement for whatever Staxium is proposing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
look,
So,
I
hold
don't.
on, one second.
Go for it, sorry.
No worries. So my issue with what Steven is saying is
Bro, fuck Destiny. This is propaganda, dude. I just got paid. I should save my money for my phone bill. But hearing these Final Fantasy sounds, game's only $40, bro. Don't think about it, Will. Don't do it. Don't do it.
that there's no exit ramp, right? Like this sounds to me like purging the Ba'athist Party, right? And there won't be any repercussions from that.
Like these philosophy bros, they fucking make me so mad, dude. It's so fucking infuriating. So we could have a conversation, and I think I'm gonna end with this because it's already almost been 2 hours. This debate is making me want to blow my brains out. Whoops. Didn't mean to hit that. Whatever. Philosophy bros do this shit. And it's fucking infuriating. No, I mean, I do it too, depending on who I'm talking to. So I'm guilty of this full send. Matter of fact, I do it all the time. So I'm an infuriating asshole. I know why I raise blood pressures. I got you. I understand. We're talking about people right now that have committed crimes. Okay, me and you, if I go out tomorrow and I shoot someone, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to be, found guilty. I'll go to a courtroom. Someone will be like, "Why'd you do it?" Whatever. I'm going to be held responsible for the crime that I do. If I get caught committing a crime, I'm going to pay a price. Now, there are circumstances that can change so much about this. My intent on why I did what I did might change some parameters. My have I ever committed a crime before? There are so many things that can go into a determination on whether or not what level of like responsibility I'll hold. But at some level, I will hold responsibility. Destiny is not advocating for locking people up. I would, that's me, because he knows that if he were to advocate for that, Donald Trump would just pardon them. So he's preempting that. He's saying that if Donald Trump is going to pardon these people, whoever Donald Trump pardons for a particular crime, we should charge them with insurrection. They'll be pardoned for the insurrection because, Donald Trump has the pardoning power. He was elected to an office. That's perfectly within his the purview of his job title. He can do that. Whether we agree with it or not is irrelevant. That is a position that Donald Trump has the authority to, he can just thwart that. That's just, sorry. Now, if we want to talk about pardoning powers, we can definitely do that. There's a good conversation there. There's a good reason why a president should be able to step in and pardon someone. It makes sense on paper why pardons should exist. To cool political tensions depending on particular situations, which is ultimately the argument that Conor and this gentleman are making. Conor and Prime are saying that we shouldn't go full send because it could cause a dramatic effect in the political landscape. I, however, would argue that we already have. That dramatic effect has already happened. We're seeing political violence ratchet through and through the roof, actually. We're seeing further increases of political tensions across the board, and the political spectrum is getting more and more bleak every single day. So philosophy bros will do this thing where they tie things to other things in an attempt to conflate what's happening. That's the reason why they called it the Nuremberg trials to begin with. Like conflating it with one of those situations, we can already use the political, not political capital, but the fallout of those situations to say we shouldn't do this or that or this. The problem is that it further perpetuates a system where the elite or the leaders of countries can continue to do things without any form of repercussions. I'm sorry if you support an evil dictator that takes over our country, shits all over our constitution, and then literally infringes on people's rights. That person should be held accountable. Now, if we can't literally charge them with crimes, what other option do we have? We at least should bar them from holding political office ever again. Allowing these people to perpetuate and multiply within our system is literally how things happened in Nazi Germany. Hitler wasn't the supreme chancellor right off the gate. He wasn't the leader of their party. He was given, people bent the knee to him, gave him positions of power, pushed him to the side, and slowly but surely he built up his core audience, the core people that believe in his message. And then it became unstoppable. We need to address this on two separate fronts. We need to have honest conversations with people. And the way that we have done massive detriment to the left is we would not put these people before us and honor the good spirit of debate. We wouldn't challenge these people on particular issues. We just said they were wrong, and we pushed them under a rug. Well, things happen in the dark. As someone who's existed in a lot of subcultures that prop up on the dark web, I can actively tell you that there is a growing, active, thriving hunger for many of these things because they are taboo. They are considered bad. They are the counterculture. People that just don't like to follow societal norms or the culture are going to start following along in these trends. And we can see that more and more every day with younger generations. Younger generations move against the pendulum. Here I thought in my youth, the younger generation was the idea that we were rebuking the religious oligarchical system that persecuted gays and, no, the predominant system was just a Christian system, that was completely ruled by Fox News, and my parents were hardcore Republican. So, of course, the environment that I was raised in perpetuated the idea that this prolific culture was ever present. But now, 20 years later, people are typically raised with the idea of diversity, inclusion, and we're taught by and large not to see race, and yet people are resisting it. Well, why is that? Well, it's because it's the counterculture. Whenever something becomes prolific, there's always a wave against it. The way that we defeat this is by having honest conversations with people regardless of their political ideologies. And if there is a disagreement or a disparity between our belief structures, we ham that out in real time, preferably in front of an audience. This way, people can learn right from wrong just based off of information. Now, you may not win people over immediately. It might take time. But seeing your favorite content creators or your favorite arguers or your favorite people fail to uphold the points that they're trying to make will have a diminishing effect on their capability to make those points. Not only would it dramatically affect their capability and conscious capability to actually perform whatever they're doing, but it will also negatively impact the audience's reception of what they're saying and doing. You don't kill someone by one giant shot. You do it by 1,000 little cuts. That's the reason that Donald Trump was so successful. Every meme was a little cut against Biden. Every little meme was a cut against the Democratic Party. Every little joke, every little tweet, every little thing that fractured the Democratic Party from within slowly continued to splinter, fracture, and grow. And now the Democratic Party has the lowest approval rating it's ever had. Meanwhile, being the primary party that's fought for the American people time and time again. People just like to be part of the culture, and people like to be part of the counterculture. That's all it comes down to. One time, the counterculture will win because it seems hip and cool, and then it becomes the culture, and then people gravitate to the other thing. We always thought it was, the jocks and stuff were going to be the kings of the world. Now D&D is the most popular it's ever been. Simple trends can completely explain away so much shit. In order to have a cohesive understanding of your worldview, you need to have not only honest conversations with other people where you try to materialize and articulate your beliefs, but also with yourself. And if you hit a few roadblocks, you have to take the time to understand why and where. These conversations are paramount in helping us further understand where we are on the political spectrum and what we can do to make cohesive changes with the world around us. Because that's what all of us are. That's what all politics are. Anytime someone comes to you for advice or you offer it, you're trying to materialize what you think is correct. Now, whether you are or not, that's a different conversation for a different time. Anyway, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. It's about 2 o'clock. I got a few things I got to do. I got a few reactions I got to watch. So I'm going to get those done. I'm going to get the ball rolling on all that shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, Tiny, I didn't get all the way through it, but them asking you the same fucking 5 questions for about 40 minutes. I'm disappointed in my boy Connor. He maybe he brings it back, but I'm not going to watch to find out. All right, guys. Peace the fuck out. And I love you guys. Be safe.